had loads of ideas to make a video, and every time I'm thinking of ideas to make a video, the minute I start to film, I find myself in a really awkward situation where the minute I turn the camera on, I go blank. And I suppose it could be anxiety, and my throat just got stuffy there. Every time I try to make a point, my throat goes stuffy. It's really annoying. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with congested... I'm not an expert on this, congested energy spot, because I find every time I try to raise a pertinent point, a point where something that means a lot to me, something that has been repressed a lot, something that has been stuck a lot, ends up getting stuffy. Like even individual words that mean a lot end up getting stuffy. I also realised that multitasking is immensely hard during what is known as, for those interested in astrology or energy, Mercury retrograde. Why do I say that? Because not only do I struggle day to day with multitasking if I'm distracted, or I'm not 100% awake, I guess, I have just noticed that I put a giant bottle of laundry detergent, like washing detergent, upside down without the lid on. The reason why I did this is because there was not much left in said bottle, but I wanted to use the rest of it, and I put it upside down without the lid on, and now there's laundry detergent on the floor. That is about as absurd as putting non-refrigerated items in the fridge and putting bacon in the cupboards. I once found bacon in the cupboards several days later, and I was so mad because I could not eat that bacon. I may have actually eaten the bacon because it was so full of chemicals that there was a chance that it was still edible. It wasn't my idea to eat bacon, it was my partner's idea, but I said the bacteria could have multiplied. Luckily, I think it was around winter, and it gets really cold. Talking of winter yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about, kind of how boring of me, how quaint the weather. Not directly the weather, but more so, like, last few days I have woken up and I found myself feeling like it's like Christmas. I don't know why. And every time that happens, well, it actually doesn't happen that often. It's basically the last day, no way, it's the last day of July already. And like, the last 4 days it's been feeling like basically yeah, winter. It's been feeling like the Christmas holidays specifically. I don't know why, it's like the air I breathe in smells dry, and maybe it's my sinuses. It smells dry and just like the North Pole. I don't know why, because around winter and Christmas things start to feel like I'm living in the North Pole. I mean, if you think about it, if you draw a direct line above United Kingdom or Scotland, there is nothing directly above us, which is quite terrifying. I'm right now having deja vu over talking about this, but it's quite possible I've talked about this before. I mentioned this. That's strange, but rather annoying actually, because I don't like that feeling. I don't always like the feeling of deja vu. I don't like the feeling of having a deja vu of a deja vu, and I don't like the feeling of Christmas sometimes, because even though it's cozy, I find that I coincidentally have always ended up in rather incriminating, awkward situations, maybe homelessness? Yes, homelessness. Or things have gone mysteriously wrong when they shouldn't have gone wrong. The time I need help the most, I find I get the opposite, or would get the opposite of that. And I find myself already running out of time. Each minute feels like a passing second. It's quite annoying. A quick mention of this feeling of energy is, I've noticed, the reason why I notice the strange sensations of energy is because I find, I once tried to explain this, there's no concept of this in philosophy, there's no, maybe there is, there's no concept of this maybe in religious type settings, maybe, at least not that I knew of back when I was 21. Is I once told my boyfriend and partner many years ago, I said, it's weird how you can walk down the same path every single day or every other day, and it feels different every single time, and there's no name to this concept. It could feel really good, it could feel really bad, it could feel like you're in India, it could feel like in another country. It's like, maybe about a month ago, I was walking down the road where I lived to go shopping, maybe, and it was really sunny, and it just felt like France. I felt like home again, and I don't know why. Like a small town near the countryside type climate. It smelled like France, it felt like France, the people even seemed French. It was very strange. I experience that often. Excuse me if my hair looks terrible. Not that anyone's really going to watch this, but I find when I get the best ideas, not even the best of ideas, when I want to make a video and when I want to do stuff, my hair looks particularly bad because I'm trying to let it rest. I'm trying to repair my hair by just putting oil in it and stuff. But yes, my hair is purple, violet, pink. It could look better though. So, yeah, Christmas. Strange feelings, strange days. I like to be able to coin that term. There is no term, really, as a friend once put it as. I wish I could remember, because I once saw him pick up the little long, dangly, kind of tinsely, it wasn't tinsel, like these little shimmery type things you put on Christmas trees, and he picked them off the tree of one of my friend's places, and he picked it up and then started throwing in the air and doing this and going coinage, and then it turned into, there was a reason behind why he kept using the term coinage, and I wish I could remember. I don't know if it was trying to be ironic or postmodern, because yeah, he was kind of weird. And then my other friend joined in, and I think people were mildly drunk off mulled wine. I can't remember, but maybe not even. We might have all been completely sober. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I kind of miss that. Not necessarily. I find it rather annoying that past a certain age, acting silly or spontaneous and coming up with silly terms is almost like a cardinal sin. And I find it rather depressing, because if a man does that in front of a partner, maybe, or a woman, maybe if he's dating or he's trying to settle down, all of a sudden maybe he might be seen as immature, and I find it kind of rich, considering that some of the most interesting people I've ever met would be classified as immensely immature and insane. But immaturity might be a whole other topic to talk about. Because when I was younger, I think I was called immature like all the time. I was nicknamed something like, yeah, referred to as a 2-year-old for many, many years, including on my family's vlogs, which is immensely frustrating because I went through a phase when I was a teenager where I wanted only to associate with older people. I wanted to have nothing to do with young people because I thought young people were stupid and up down bums, you know, just like head in the sand kind of thing. I was very jaded as a teenager, at least in my late teens and early 20s, and now I'm kind of jaded and annoyed that I have to start acting like a real adult. And the part of me wants to regress. It would be so easy, essentially. So I try to write down ideas of what I talk about, or I'm thinking of talking about, and I can't remember. When I do remember, I realise I don't really care about it anymore. So I don't know what to talk about, which is immensely frustrating. I'd like to make those kind of interesting videos where I use some big words, but at least know what I'm talking about, and maybe simplify it. Because there's no point being a know-it-all if nobody gives a shit. There's no point being a smartass if, like, no one gives a crap, and it's boring. And I find that since I was very, very young, I would just pick up the dictionary or encyclopedia when I was, I don't know, 8, 9. I was homeschooled, by the way, which is probably why I went through a phase where I could not even adapt or relate to other kids. And I realized it's not really cool getting into politics or like taking an interest in cults and religions and science type things and just all kinds of things when you're between ages 8 and 12 maybe. And I realized that, yeah, that's not normal. I should have done things the other way around. Like, I should have acted like a kid when I was a kid and acted like a teenager when I was a teenager, instead of trying to act like somebody in their 30s. And now I'm finding myself where it's just like, I'm supposed to settle down, and I'm supposed to desire a house, car, kids, a dog, 2.5 kids, and even if I'm not supposed to like those things, here's where it gets rather hard, one of my problems is, it's kind of hard to comply with those normal things. Get down to business and do normal things, acquire normal things when your parents have made it extra hard, excruciatingly hard, made it so that you're extremely naive, you're extremely vulnerable, you don't know any social graces, any unspoken rules, because when you're an adult, you can't just go to other adults, or kids, or when you're a kid, or whatever, and say, hey, what is this? What is that? Can you help me with this? You're not supposed to ask questions, because asking questions makes you look stupid. Number 2, asking questions appears to waste people's time. One of my friends, he said, try not to ask questions all the time, because people don't appreciate questions. They see it as, a lot of the time, people will misinterpret that as you wasting their precious time. And I was like, I never thought of that. I never, ever, ever, ever thought of that. I never thought, why would asking a why or what or how question waste people's time? And unfortunately, if you've not been taught how to navigate the adult world without any connections, any help, you've been part of a religion that's more like a cult, the minute you're thrown onto the sidewalk, metaphorically or literally, and there's no turning back, where do you get help from? How do you navigate the adult world? How do you become an adult if all you were taught is, you'll just figure it out, oh, you'll become just like Richard Branson? I think it's a generational thing of our generation, millennials, that our generation was taught that you can be anything you want. You can be like Richard Branson, and it's rather annoying.